All right, let's see if this thing works. See if the audio works. That's always the fun part of this whole thing. So let's see if the audio works. What's going on? What's going on, everyone? Let's give it a little bit here. Pull up some information that you guys have been writing to me. Well, this is tricky. All right, let's see if I can get this thing rolling. A few of you guys are in here, so I might as well just get this thing going. If you guys want to share where you're from and what is going on this morning. It is Sunday morning. Decided to figure this out and try to go online. Let me know if the audio is okay. This is the first time kind of using this this setup here, so I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if this is gonna work right or how exactly it works, but we'll try it out. How does the audio sound? Hopefully there's no echo or anything like that. We'll see how this thing goes. So give me some info on there if the audio sounds good, if there's any echo. What is up, guys? Good morning. I'm in San Diego, so good morning. I'm not sure where everyone else is from, but I will do a little roll call here. I did not think that there'd be, holy cow, 80-something people in here. Andre Roman, beloved Lion, what's up, guys? Eric Schurtz, as always, thanks for supporting, man. Cal Snyder, Gary, Christina McKnight, Alexia Polymer, sorry about that. Cal Snyder, Andrew, Mub Javel. Dude, I need my coffee. I'm already finished with my coffee. Not good. Hey, Drone Supremacy, what's up, Mike? I gotta catch up to you guys on these live streams, man. You guys, I don't know what time is it over there? So it's always good that when I'm able to get you on, or I'm able to finally join some of yours. Monty, Richard, Tobias, what's going on? Mark, Airborne RC, Norman, Bird's Eye Perspective. I know, right? Finally catching up on live stream. It's funny. Audio sounds good. Awesome. That's good to hear. Good to hear. Sweet. Santa Barbara, Nevada, from Nevada, Silva. Audio's good. Perfect. What's up, Robert, Calvin? How you doing? Nudell. 7 p.m. All right, I'll take that. Thanks, man. So yeah, I'm trying out this StreamYard thing. Seems like it gives me a little bit more flexibility over it. So hopefully, if it works out, I'm trying to keep things simple here. And I'm sure you guys have saw the thumbnail, or if not, yeah, we're right there. We're so close to 200K. What a crazy journey. I appreciate you guys jumping on. Did not announce anything like this. I just figured I woke up and see where we're at, and if I'm able to put on a live stream, let's put on a live stream. And I thought this would be a little bit easier, but you know, when you try to set things up, there's a lot of complexity going on in this thing. So we can jump into some stuff here. If you have some questions, I also have some questions that were asked on a previous post of mine a few weeks ago. So I'll definitely go through those if there's any questions, or if there's any time to fill in while you guys ask some of your stuff. So yeah, feel free to ask some questions here. I will do my best to answer whatever I can. And like I said, if there's no questions in the chat, I will, of course, just pull some questions that I had from my previous post a couple weeks ago. So feel free to do that. And we'll go through them. We'll go through them. BZB has a bunch of questions. So let's go through some of these. I'm going to scroll up just a little bit here. Like I said, pardon me if I delay this. I'm trying to also figure out StreamYard as we go. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people. 808 State, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. Dang, it's early for you. What is it, 6? 6 over there? Yeah, we'll go through some stuff. And maybe, within this maybe 30 minutes or an hour or so, whatever we do, if we cross that number, awesome. If not, either way, always good to connect with you guys. So I might as well just try this out. And let's go through some stuff. Let's go through some questions and answers here. And feel free to drop those in, and I'll do my best to answer as much as I can. And let's go through some here. Let me scroll this down. All right, let's pull these up on screen. And this is probably one of the most common ones we get, right? Is sorry about that. I just what is the best drone for beginners? And I think I already made a video about that one. There's just too many questions to ask. I made a video about it, so if you want to check that out, Ahmed, make sure you check out one of my videos. Of course, it's going to be anywhere between the Mavic Mini and the Mavic Air 2. I can't speak for a lot of the other drones that are in the market, mainly because I just don't have them. The only other one I have is the Evo, Autel Evo 2, the Pro and the Pro and the 8K. But as far those aren't really, I wouldn't say beginner drones. So for me, I'd say in between the Mavic Air and the Mavic, the Mavic Air 2 and the Mavic Mini. It's there's about 4 or 5 questions I normally will ask you guys. Make sure you guys check out that video on my channel, and you'll go through that, and hopefully that'll answer your question. There's so many things with budget. There's so many things with knowledge of what you want to do with it. So there's no right or wrong answer, right? So people have a Mavic Mini and they can make it look absolutely amazing. Some people have a Inspire and their videos look not as cool. So it really depends on how you want to use it and what you're using it for. So check out that video. BZB, any leaks on Mavic Mini 2? I don't think so, man. I haven't seen anything. I don't even know what they're going to come out with for Mavic Mini 2. The only thing I don't even know. I'll be honest with you. The only thing I can think of that you can still keep it in the price range is if they somehow kept it under 250 grams, but added like OcuSync too. That's the only thing I could maybe think that might be. But at $400, I just think we're just so limited on what we can really, jam pack into that thing and still be technically under that, that weight threshold. So no, I haven't heard anything about Mavic Air 2 or Mavic Mini 2. Sorry about that. And what they can improve on, they can improve on everything. And that's kind of what the Mavic Air 2 is. It's an improvement on everything. So, you kind of have to weigh out those options. You're going to pay a little bit more, of course, for the Mavic Air 2, but what you get out of the Mavic Air 2 is I think it's a significant jump over the Mini. But like I talked about in my previous video, a lot of people buy the drone to try it out for a little while, and they might not like it, So sometimes I always recommend get the Mini because you just might not fly it as much as you might think you will, and it's a less of an investment. So try that out. Mike, awesome, man. Thanks, dude. I appreciate the chat, man. And definitely we'll need to schedule and get you. I need to get on yours and catch up on yours. I always miss yours, or I always get in late on some of your chats. So, Drone Supremacy Mike, if you guys haven't checked out his channel, another amazing drone channel that goes in depth and a lot of information. So make sure you guys are subscribed to him. Check him out, Drone Supremacy. Thanks for stopping by, Mike. Really appreciate it, man. Yeah, Mavic Mini good for the budget, of course. like I said, all of them are really, really good for $300. You can't go wrong with it as long as you just keep it close by and not think I'm going to fly around buildings and around, 2 miles away. Keep it close, keep it within line of sight. Keep your remote in line of sight, and you're good to go with the Mavic Mini. The only time I would really say, like, hey, if you need to jump up, is if you're flying in places, and I'm sure 808 can attest to this. If you're flying in Hawaii, you got gusts of wind all the time. If you're flying at high altitude, the Mavic Mini is not going to do that good. So if you're in the mountains, you're going to want something that's a little bit heavier. Mavic Air 2, the Mavic Pro, anything like that would significantly help your comfortability factor. I talk about the Mini a lot in sense of how comfortable are you and do you want to be. I always suggest the Mini is really, really good, but this isn't something you're going to fly in the city confidently. This isn't something you're going to fly around buildings and fly 2 miles away confidently. You're not going to do that as much as you would with all the other ones because of the OcuSync technology. Let's see here. Yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to throw those in there, and I'll make sure I try to get to them as much as I can. Stuff is moving, so really cool to see you guys on here. What editing software? I use Final Cut Pro. I know a lot of people use Final Cut, DaVinci, Premiere. I'll be honest with you, my edits are very, very light. They're very simple. I have A-roll, which is normally my talking head, and then I have my B-roll. So, if you want to get more complex with things, absolutely you can have like, a timeline with 30, 40 layers. I just don't do like a lot of other people do. I just don't do as much like sound design. I don't do as much tweaking that you probably could do, or a lot of people can do. I just try to keep things simple. It's just every time you add another layer, you add another, hours and hours of work. So for me, I just try to keep things very simple, straight to the point, and it seems to appeal to you guys. So I appreciate that. Prasan, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm not sure how that translates over to USD, but either way, man, even a shout out or something like that is really cool. I really appreciate that that super chat. I believe it's a super chat, right? Like you said, what's the best drone according to your budget? I own the Mavic Mini. Yeah, I mean, Mavic Mini is, like I said, is a great drone to have and to use. It's just there's few circumstances where you're going to want to bump it up. You're going to want to jump up to the heavier, more reliable transmission type of drones. But other than that, if you're just doing it for basic stuff and you're not worried about wind and you're not worried about, I have to shoot raw because I'm going to do it for a client or things like that. I mean, the Mavic Mini is a really good one as it's just an all-purpose, all-around drone. How do you make a dude? Yeah, keep them questions coming. Thank you guys so much. I'm closing on 200. I don't think I'm there yet. I'm like 50 or away or something like that. So that'd be kind of cool to hit it on this live stream. But if not a problem. Either way, I just want to connect with you guys. Do I know Sam Kohler? No, I don't know Sam Kohler. I just know that he does just unreal type of videos. So yeah, search him up if you want to see just incredible cinematic videos that mostly shot by drone, but of course his storytelling is also amazing, and just the way he shoots and edits and integrates the drone footage in there and what he's able to do with the slow-mo. Oh man, check him out if you guys haven't already. 808, thanks, man. Oh man, coffee on me, on you. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, catch that sunrise. I think, what is it? Is it 6:15 over there or 7:15? I'm not sure if you're 2 hours or 2 or 3 hours behind us. So yeah, check that out. I'll check out your channel in a bit to see that video. So thanks anyway. I appreciate you stopping through. And if you guys want some Evo, Autel Evo 2 footage and like reviews and stuff, make sure you guys check out 808's channel. He has a bunch of stuff on there. Most recently, I would think that's focused around the Evo stuff. So check that out. Evo 2 8K and Pro have same zoom functionality. From what I know, or actually, I haven't tested it so much, but I think I have to go back because I haven't played with the zoom, the 8K zoom in a little bit. I think there is a couple optical, and then it goes into digital on the Evo 2 8K. Honestly, it's been a few months since I've flown that one. I've actually been flying the Pro more. So if you guys remember that one, actually 808 probably can answer that one. I haven't really played with the zoom on the 8K. I know it does have the digital. I think it might be like a 2 by optical in certain resolutions, but I have to check that out again. So don't quote me on that. But a lot of people, even with the Mavic Air 2, I specifically said in my video a lot of times that it is digital zoom. So a lot of people might, say, well, why would you ever need it? And, a lot of people will always say, why don't you just do it in post? Absolutely. You could still do it in post, but the thing is you can't do post live, right? If you're live somewhere and you need that extra punch, yes, if you're doing it in post-production, you could absolutely do it in post-production, not a problem. You could do any zoom in or, digital zoom in post. But if you're there in a location, and for instance, if you're shooting something and you possibly might need it for not necessarily just your video, but if you're doing something like we were talking about earlier, some search and rescue, or if you're doing something where inspection and you need to actually punch in and you can't fly up to the object, this is where something like this kind of opens up those doors, right? It opens up those doors to have that ability to zoom in digitally on the spot. So if you're trying to do it in post, of course, you can always do that in post. But if you want to do it on the spot, just a really nice option to have on the actual drone itself. Sorry, I don't know why I have a runny nose this morning. What do I think about the Mavic 3 Pro? I don't know. Send me a link. I want to see it. If you have it, if you have some specs or some info on it, let me know. Shoot it over to me. I'd like to tell you. So I'll tell you what I think about it once I see that. Since we're on the Mavic 3, I think there's definitely a lot of expectation around it. I think people are expecting a lot, and I don't have any word on when it's supposed to be released, what it's going to have, but I can tell you this much: there's definitely a lot of expectation around it when it comes down to that drone and what people have seen with things like Skydio and the optical avoidance there. Is there going to be some sort of hybrid? Because one thing I feel, even though I don't have the Skydio, but a lot of my friends and YouTube friends and people that have it, of course, rave about how insane the tracking function is, and I can see it. I mean, you're basically using very similar, technology as you are with self-driving cars. So that's not what the DJI platform has. So if you're looking at that, yeah, you're looking at the optical avoidance on that type of drone. Absolutely. Of course, the downfall is the appeal. How many people is that going to really hit home, and is that their priority? So with the Mavic 3 line, right, or just a DJI lineup in general, they're just well known for having that reliable drone that takes quality photos and has a lot of features and smart features and optical avoidance in there too. Now, where do I see the Mavic 3 possibly going? I do see it, some sort of merger between that two, not company wise, but how can they, I would say, how can the Mavic 2 Pro take that next step up? What is it going to be adding? A Skydio style optical avoidance? Is it going to be adding in bigger, larger camera options? I mean, that's kind of I feel like that's the only directions that they can kind of take. And it's really depending on what the market's where the market needs it to be. Do they need another drone that's going to avoid obstacles? Is that going to surpass them saying we need a better camera, right? So I think either way, you're going to make some people very happy. Maybe some people go, "Oh man, like I wish you had this, I wish you had that," like every drone does. But I think you just have to play towards the masses of what is going to be beneficial for majority of the people, right? So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Mike Miller, am I a full-time YouTuber? No and yes. No, I have a day job. I do have a day job, which is actually takes up a lot of time. But am I a full-time YouTuber? I like to say I'm a full-time YouTuber because I take YouTube seriously as though it would be my full-time job. And I think anyone that's doing YouTube at this moment, and you want it to be something, then you kind of have to take it that way. You have to put the time in and put the effort in every single time you post a video, every time you try to make something new. You have to look at it as though pretend like it is your full-time job, even if it's not. And that's the only way I think you're really going to make a dent or make a lot more movement than you would if you just, like they say, you treat something like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. You treat something like a business, it'll pay you like a business. Not that I'm worried about the money, but it comes with the territory of treating it like a business in a way that you kind of have a little bit better of a strategy moving into it than just saying, I'm just going to post videos and we'll see what happens later down the line. You have to have a little bit of strategy involved in what you want to do and how you want to do it in order for you to somewhat grow, right? All right, keep the questions coming. I'm going to try to go through them. Let me backtrack a little bit. I think I'm missing people. Oh, Paul. Oh, what's up, Paul? Thanks, man. English tea on me. Really enjoy the content. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. What is my favorite Air 2, Mavic 2 Pro, Mavic 2 Zoom? Right now, my favorite is still the Mavic 2 Pro is probably still my favorite of the drones. The Mavic Air 2 is right there behind it, mainly because it is so actually pretty easy to get up in the air and fly, and it's small. So if I have a choice, I'm normally always going to lean towards the Mavic 2 Pro, but the Air has been in my bag. I probably say the most, of course, not just because it's new, but also they just rolled out. As you guys saw, they rolled out a bunch of new firmware updates, so it's fun to test those out, see what you could do with it. The whole Zoom thing just kind of opened up the doors. It really just made this thing a lot more, gave people a lot more options, got people excited again. So yeah, that's with me right now, mainly because of the fact that the Mavic 2 Pro, not much has been updated on there, and I don't really do much client work or anything. I fly for a hobby. I fly for myself. So I'm not out there always shooting or something for clients. That's not really what I do. So I just have a drone in my bag, and it just, as of right now, it just happens to be the Mavic Air 2, mainly because of all the new stuff that's been coming out, and also it's a small drone, really easy to get up in the air. Put that one in there. Best mission planning software. I don't do mission planning, so if anyone does mission planning, feel free to leave some info down below, and we can go through those. But I don't really do any of that stuff, so I'm not going to speak on the software for that. All right, let's go through some of the things here. All right, let me go through some more if you guys have more. What's up, Steve Carpenter? How you doing, man? I'm sure I didn't check your live stream. I'm sure you have gotten some good sun. We've had some really, really good sunsets here recently on the West Coast. So I'm not sure if Steve, apologize if I missed your stream, but I don't think you've been going live on the sunsets recently, have you? Let me know. Oh, what just turned off? What light just turned off? Weird. One of my lights just turned off. It's not you, is it? Oh, it is you. Oh, okay. Still okay, right? All right, let's go through. Elijah, what's up, bud? Thanks, man. Almost there. We're almost there. Why did you not buy the Inspire 2? So good question. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't do much client work like I did a long time ago. So I didn't have I wasn't it wasn't going to offset anything for me, and I wasn't going to spend $10,000 just for the channel to review that if I knew I wasn't going to use it where I needed it to be. So most of the stuff I always buy, I'm always going to buy it because of the fact that I have to use it, right? And it just didn't turn out to be, hey, I have the Inspire 1 with the X5 camera. Only problem, I just really haven't flown that one in a while because of the fact that I have old batteries on it. And if you guys ever flown the Inspire lineups as far as the first gen ones, then you guys know that the batteries pretty sketchy on those sometimes. So I would have to get a whole new set of batteries. I don't even know where to find the Inspire 1 batteries at this point. But yeah, I never got the Inspire 2, mainly because I know it's going to be a full another investment. That's probably going to be around that $10,000 mark with the new camera, with new lenses. And if I wasn't doing this thing, and main reason I didn't get it is because of the fact I wasn't doing this as a full-fledged business. I wasn't out there promoting services as though hire me for XYZ. If I did, then if I needed that larger of a camera, better quality, better stability, and shooting it a little bit more in more service work or production work, then for sure I probably would have bought it. What is up, Bill? Good seeing you, buddy. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, it is a ride. It's very fun, and glad you've been along with it. So awesome. Joe, how's it going, Joe? I do real estate photography around the Jersey Shore where stronger winds occur, which you suggest as a more stable platform. The Phantom 4 is like rock solid in the air. So if you're just worried about wind, Mavic 2 Pro or the Phantom 4 is going to be good. The Phantom lineup in general does really, really good in the wind. So if you are okay with the size of the drone and it is like a workhorse type of drone, the Phantom 4 will be really good if you're so worried about that wind. But the size of the Mavic 2 Pro just makes travel with it so much easier that there comes to a point where you don't want to fly because it's a hassle, right? That's the reason why drones get so small these days, is that, okay, how do I, not have this a hassle? The Phantom 4 Pro is really good, but it can be a hassle because it's so much bigger. And there are going to be times you're going to get out there to maybe, one of your houses, and you're going to be like, okay, well, I just don't feel comfortable bringing this larger drone in this area. And that's where the Phantom or the Mavic 2 Pro and the smaller drones come in. It's just a little bit less, visible, a lot quieter. So if you're only worried about shooting in high winds all the time, I mean, yeah, the Phantom would be a little bit better, but I think if you are but the Mavic 2 Pro is more than enough that you'll need as far as wind goes. I don't think you have any issues there with the wind. And it's smaller, so you're more than likely going to feel more comfortable flying that. And I think that's the biggest thing. How comfortable are you getting it up in the air and flying it is more of a something to think about. That's the reason why the Mini does so well. That's the reason why the Mavic Air is doing so well. It just makes things easy. They make things easy. How do you balance? Thanks again. Jeez. How do you balance between family, YouTube, and your job? The balance is I think for me it's just little pieces, right? You fulfill there's so much fulfillment you get from every little piece of it that as long as for me, if I just keep doing things little by little, then I get fulfilled. If I stick to one thing, then I feel like, okay, well, when the family's away or if the kids are out busy, then what do you do? What do I do? So I can either, do more YouTube stuff or of course my day job. Luckily, my day job is flexible enough where I'm able to do that. I don't have to necessarily be right at the computer from like a 9 to 5. A lot of it I do is like project based. So I'm able to be flexible there. So you kind of fit in where you need to fit in. And I also wake up at, 5:30 to get another 2 hours of work before the kids get up. And then you do another couple hours of work when the kids go to sleep. So I think it's just a matter of not necessarily balance. I would say it's really just, what is, how do you structure your time and how do you maximize that time? All right. Let's keep it growing. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Cigar Nation Warriors, man, thanks for the support. You are definitely a very active supporter for a lot of this drone community. So I really appreciate it. Just want to give you a shout out. Yeah, loving the Air 2 Zoom. I know, right? It's funny. We call it the Air 2 Zoom now. But it kind of is, right? It kind of is. So that's awesome. Let's keep it rolling. Thank you guys. Thanks for the comments. To see here, what drones outside of DJI would you suggest? Yeah, so I mean, yeah, what drones outside DJI would you suggest? And like in starting a mid range like I said, outside DJI, I don't know much. There is the Evo 2, and the Evo 2 Pro is probably, but that's up there. That's almost $2,000. But I don't, I can't recommend much because of the fact I just, it's not that I'm like just a DJI fanboy, but you just have to fly what works. And you have to think of all the other things that come along with it. How often is it being supported? Can I get parts for it? What's the response time? And how well is it maintained? There's a lot of things that you gotta realize that it's not just a drone, but if the company is not sending updates and not correcting things, and not listening to their customers, how good is it going to, evolve into? And I think that's the biggest thing with DJI. Yes, they own the market, but you have to understand, like they are fixing things as they go. They have one firmware update, every couple weeks, every few weeks, and it makes something that was good now great. I mean, who would have thought that we would have got this firmware update for the Mavic Air 2 that added all these things to it? Like after 2 months now or 3 months, no one would have thought it. But you look at all the other drones, you're not seeing anything. You're not seeing any updates. You're not seeing any corrections, or they're taking 6 months. I mean, that's the stuff you also have to look at. It's not necessarily just what other options are out there, because there's a ton of options out there. You just have to look at some of the other factors in there too. All right, let's go through. Post-production, I talked about this a little bit earlier. Post-production, I would say, if you're just starting out, keep it as simple as possible. Most of my stuff, I'm not a film, I'm not putting myself out there as like I'm a cinematic filmmaker, shooter, and I have to, go by all these rules. Honestly, I just shoot and I do some basic color corrections and put it up. But if you want to get into the nuts and bolts of it, there's a lot of different ways you could do it. But I think all the major ones are more sufficient. The Final Cuts. You can do the premieres. So those are a little bit. I'd say I'm more you have DaVinci. You have so there's a few out there that I would recommend using. But there's so much involved in it that it takes a while. You just have to kind of get in and keep going, and try to add to it little by little. What are you doing, man? Flying drones and watching at the same time? All right, let's go back. If you have more questions here. Let's see, Mavic Mini Air. Here's a good one. What are some good free low cost options for editing action camera videos? That's actually about the same thing. Low cost. I mean, if you're on a Mac, use iMovie. That's about it. There's actually some free programs out there now, but I mean, stick with the basics. The thing that people get hung up on, I think, a lot is that you think it's the software that's doing a lot of things. It's really the shots you're getting, the sequence you're putting in, maybe a little bit of the B-roll you might add, the music, all those things add up. Now, you can literally have a very, very good video if it's shot well and you sequence them well. I would lean less on thinking that the software is going to save your video. So if you're worried about the software doing it, then that's probably So DaVinci is free. If you're worried about the software fixing your shots, then you have to work on the shots, right? What's up, Lon? What's the holdup on the Air 2 smart controller case? The holdup is they're probably just waiting for the smart controller capabilities to come out, which we all are. I think I haven't actually talked to Rick in the past, I'd say, week or so. I know they have some stuff over there on the back burner ready to go, but we just don't have it yet. And I'm actually kind of surprised that we haven't had it yet either. So not the case. I'm saying the update for the smart controller only because it's so close to being there, and we've had this other big firmware update. So I'm sure it'll be there. It'll be there, hopefully in the next update. Yeah, you had a lot of people, DaVinci. So there's another one a lot of people use. DaVinci Resolve, I believe, is that a lot of people have been using that, and it's a free download too. Yeah, iMovie. Is DJ? Here's a nice one. DJI Osmo Action a good choice because in my area, Action is cheaper than GoPro. If you guys know me and you guys know the channel, I like the Action because of that front screen and just how well it does. But if you're the person that needs, and don't get me wrong, I use my Hero 8. I just used my Hero 8 yesterday or 2 days ago. My daughter is riding her bike. The Hero 8 has Super View. It's a much wider field of view. I put a clamp onto her handlebars while she's riding the bike, and I went with the GoPro because it just had a little bit wider of a field of view. If I had the Osmo, I could still do wide view or de-warp view, but the GoPro just gave me a little bit more. So that was the difference in that shot where I went with the GoPro. But for me, an all-purpose, all daily, all use type of camera, I'm going to go with the Osmo, mainly because not just the front screen, but the biggest thing I use the most is that quick switch button on the left-hand side. I will always go from shooting 4K 30, 4K 60 to slow-mo to photo. And having that button there while I'm shooting, I can shoot a regular vlog, and then I can say, oh, let me switch it over and get B-roll. Crank it over to slow-mo real quick with two presses. Now I'm doing some like 120 B-roll, and then my kids are there, and I switch it, click it two more times, and now I'm in photo mode, and I can do a burst photo mode. You can't really do that with the other cameras. And I think for me, as an all-purpose type of camera, that is the biggest game changer. I use it for everything. If you're just going to be mounting it to a bike, mounting it to a board, you're not going to see the back of the screen, then yeah, you could go with a GoPro. But the benefits of that GoPro is going to be, I think their color science is really good. I think if you don't want to do any post-production, GoPro out of camera looks really, really good for most people because they do have that, it's a little bit more saturated, but a lot of people like that. If you don't want to do any post, that out of camera from GoPro is pretty, I would say, pleasant to the eye for most people, right? People like the Osmo Action. It does shoot a little bit flatter, but a lot of people like myself will do a tiny bit of post-production on it. So I don't worry about that too much. But if you're looking straight out, yeah, the GoPro's quality is really, really good. But then it slows me down in so many other aspects. That's where the Osmo Action for me takes it. Little things. Getting the SD card out in the GoPro. I mean, you have to take the battery cover off for sure. Then you even might have to take the battery out just to get the SD. Like some things like that. You're just like, all right, come on. You know, so those things like that really add up in time and add up in frustration. And I think for me, like I said, I use it for a lot of all purpose. And I think the action just, I'm so waiting for the action too. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be upgrade on camera, if it's going to be a slight upgrade. I don't know, but that's what I'm probably most excited about. Hopefully the audio just gets better. I mean, everything just gets a little bit better. And that's what I'm excited about. Yeah, exactly. Matt, same thing. Super excited to see what it has to bring. I don't know. I want to see that too, because I use my Osmo Action every single day. Anything new about the Mavic Mini? Nothing new that I saw as far as firmware goes. If you did the app update, I think the only thing, and I haven't gone through to like open up the Mini, except for the fact when I did the app update. I just know that the battery indicator, I know that works on the Mini. So things like that, but you don't get all the other stuff. So if I haven't gone through the full update on the Mini yet to see if there's anything else that's really changed. If you guys know anything that's really changed on the Mini in these past month or two besides the app update, feel free to leave that in the comments and help out the audience here. I just haven't had time to go through to see if there's anything major done, because I don't think there's been a firmware update on the Mini. So if anything, it'll just be the Mavic Mini app update, but that's basically the Fly app. Is the quality of the Mavic Mini good enough for high quality? Absolutely. Especially a lot of people still shooting, and I mean, a lot of people editing in 1080, right? So if you're editing in 1080, the Mini gives you 2.7. So you have enough room to play. You have room to punch in. You have room to, if you're gonna, lower the resolution of the footage, I mean, it's gonna look better. It'll be better. But you are talking about these small cameras, small sensors. So don't expect anything in low light to be that great. I think that's a lot of people always, will complain about it. Very similar to your phone, very similar to action cameras. They have tiny sensors. Tiny sensors struggle in low light. So don't expect a lot. I shot at at sunset, and they crushed all my blacks, and it's going to happen. It's just the way it is. Unless you do some HDR. Mavic Air 2 has HDR, so I mean that helps out a lot. But the Mavic Mini, absolutely. Travel videos, perfect drone. Shoot during the day. Pull in a bunch of little short clips on it. You're fine. All right, what other questions you got here? Elijah, what's up, buddy? Yeah, man, take us through the post-production handling, recording, and how do you handle files, importing, backing up? Man, it's funny. And actually, someone else just talked to me. I was just talking to Farouk. If you guys know iPhone, though, we were just talking on. We were just chatting on the on DMs, and we were talking about that because backups. There's like NAS backup and so many other solutions out there. I need to really get into it because of the fact I'm probably burning through 5 terabyte hard drives every month, and right now I'm doing kind of the old school backup system. Basically, what I'll do is I'll shoot whatever I shoot as a full production, whether it be my cameras, drones, everything. I will dump all that footage onto my main drive, so I have a main drive. Once it's dumped on there, I plug in my backup drive. So I have two. Every time I have hard drives, every time I do something and I shoot at the end of that day, I have 2 drives, one main, one backup, even before I edit, because you always want to have a backups of the source. So before I even edit anything, I will always dump it on one drive, and I basically mirror that 5 terabyte drive to another 5 terabyte drive, and then I'll start editing off the main. That's the biggest thing. And if you guys have seen some of my videos, I have, had corrupted hard drives, and that thing has probably saved me the most. It definitely is a burden, like you mentioned. It is a burden, but man, it's actually saved me a few times by having that as a backup. And then once I'm done editing the footage, I'll then back it up a second time. All right. Or I'll just redo that backup. So at least all my final files and my final edits are all backed up there. And then I'll move on to the next one. But that's kind of the older school way I've been doing it. And but it's worked so far. But the only problem is I have just a crap ton of hard drives. You can probably see here, actually, see, I normally have, well, actually, my hard drives are normally just 2 here. See? There's one right here. I normally have 2 drives on the back of my laptop that I'm working off of. One's main, one's backup. And speaking of hard drives, what's my favorite hard drive? It used to be Western Digital. But honestly, like, they're all good. I use Seagates right now. Not sponsored. I use Seagates because I'm at Costco every week, and they're at Costco. You get a 5 terabyte Seagate drive for $80. So every time I buy a hard drive, I buy 2. And I've been probably cranking through those things, like I said, once every month now, or a month and a half. But if you're not flying that much, you're not shooting that much. But yeah, when you buy hard drives, buy 2, right? Main and backup every single time. Even if you don't do it daily, do it weekly, back them all up. And then ideally, if it's something like JPEGs and things like that, I'll normally throw it up to the cloud. So I also have a SmugMug account. And then I will, if I do a lot of photos, I'll drag and dump all my photos JPEG-wise up on the cloud. So at least I have now technically, in a way, 3 places, at least for photos. For video, normally just 2. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I'm probably gonna I'm looking into that NOS system. I know a lot of people have been using that recently. Or not recently. They've been using it for a little while now. I just need to get up on that. All right, Steven Spence, better for weddings. Oh man. Mavic 2 Pro, I would say. You just don't want to be seen. The less you're seen, the better, right? Photographers and shooters and drone operators, you don't want to be seen. So if you can stay low key with a Mavic 2 Pro, that'd probably be a lot better of a bet there than you are with bringing out a big old Phantom. And that's funny for me saying a big old Phantom because it's not the. I mean, it's still big. Yeah, I know, Lon. It's P4P is still pretty loud. Yeah, and that's the thing, Matt. The space. A lot of people don't want to shoot in 4K. It takes up so much room. But now when I shoot and I edit, I always preview now on a 4K TV. So when I shoot and edit on a 4K TV, or at least preview it on it, it is a big difference. You can see the 4K versus 1080p. Even though I know my analytics will tell me most people are still looking at on their phone or on low resolution on my YouTube analytics, but it is so much nicer to do to have that 4K quality up front, and that it just looks so good, right? And you kind of, I wouldn't say future proofing yourself, but it looks good. It looks good like that. It just looks so much better. What is up, Colin? Yeah, I'm not at 200K yet. It would have been nice to get it. So if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. There's 134 people in here, and I need about 31 people. So if you guys haven't, hit that subscribe button, and that's my shout out to myself on that one. Hit that subscribe button, and I'm kind of curious. We have 134 people in here. I need 31 people of you that haven't subscribed to hit subscribe. And then if you don't want to subscribe after that, then feel free. Just to make sure you do it after the live stream. So because I already know what's going to happen. You see that cross 200K, then it drops down, and people have fun just screwing with you. But yeah, man, if you guys haven't subscribed, that would be awesome. I'm about 30 away. It would be cool to hit this 200K within maybe the next 10 10 or 20 minutes or so. All right, let's go through some. And I'm also going to pull in some, let me see, make sure I got all my stuff here that, and I apologize if you guys had a question that I haven't addressed, throw that in there again, and I'll try to get to that. But in the meantime, let me actually bring in a couple questions that I had from my poll, or not really poll. It was a questionnaire on my community tab that I did a few weeks ago, and we'll go through some of those, just a couple of those real quick. And one of them is, let's see here. Oh, we talked about that. Favorite drone, talked about that. I don't have that. Talking about jobs, already talked about that. Travis. Oh, okay. So YouTube, how do you, what made you want to do YouTube? And any tips and tricks on starting YouTube? How many people out there actually, if you guys are all drone fans or drone pilots, how interested are you guys in also doing YouTube in general? Like, is this, do you guys see it as though you're just posting up YouTube videos? Do you guys have YouTube questions? I'm not a YouTube expert, but I definitely have been surrounded with really, really good people that are YouTube or quote unquote YouTube experts, or that they focus around that stuff. And I've taken a bunch of stuff from them, worked with them on a lot of things. So, I mean, if there's YouTube questions, feel free to throw those in there as well. I got into it. Yeah, I've had the channel up for a while, but I never really took it seriously, I would say, until 2017. I actually marked it. April 2017 is when I said, okay, this is cool. What do you do with this now? How do I make this thing into something? And so I in 2017 in April is when I had 900 subscribers. And then and I really had 900 subscribers based off of only like a few videos that I did because I was doing some reviews on my own, and I had 900 subscribers and on April 2017. So it is a marathon, like they say. It's not a sprint. If you want to do YouTube, don't get caught up on seeing the overnight success of a lot of people. And there's definitely ways you can hack your way around it and play trends and all those things, but it's very hard to maintain those things. What's up, Drone LM? Do you use PL filters for sunset and night shots? Honestly, I don't really use PL filters that much, especially for sunset shots. I mean, you probably could. I just for me, when it comes down to that time of day, I'm just looking at getting the most light into my camera. And with PL, I know, it helps with certain types of reflections or, hot spots in here and things like that. But I haven't really gotten too much in trying to use that for those sunset pictures. I'll normally just use straight out of camera. Well, of course, I mean, with post-production and all that stuff. What I mean by that, I don't use filters. Some people will talk about like what ND filter you use for sunsets. I don't use any ND filters and things for sunsets. What is up from Dubai? What's up? Yeah, using it to promote, your business, your skill. I mean, that's exactly it. You have these channels up there. I mean, I like to tell people nowadays, YouTube and all these social media is really just your real world online resume. So, when people want to talk about YouTube and growing YouTube, I honestly just think of it as you're just building your online resume. If you think of it that way, in a way, then you don't have to worry. There's less stress on you. You just have to look at it as though I'm putting in the time, I'm putting in the work, and it's showing throughout the channel, throughout the years, right? Oh yeah, I'll be living permanently in the Philippines next year, so I would be doing YouTube from there, community videos, Filipino video. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, for anyone and I had that question on my channel, on my questionnaire too. If I was yeah, I'm Filipino, born here. My parents are My dad was born in the Philippines. Mom and dad were born in the Philippines. My dad was born in Manila. My mom is born in Pangasinan. So yeah, I was born here, San Diego, Navy Hospital. My dad's Navy. That's how we make our way. That's how we made our way down here. So thankful for that. Eric, what's up, man? Yeah, more collab videos with my son. And it's funny. He was super excited. He wanted to be on the stream too. He was like, when you starting it? And I think he's outside right now, but he he has a kick out of it. And yeah, we definitely need to do some more of those. I'm hoping that there's a couple other things I want to get working with. I mean, they're always helping me out when I'm doing some of these stabilization tests and having to shoot. So I'm glad to have these kids here to be my my models for my video. So it works out well. They get to play and I get to record. Gregory, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate the super chat. Same with you, Eric. I really appreciate it, man. Gregory, so when a project is complete, do you keep original videos or just a master? I keep everything. I just, yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. I keep everything. It's just I have everything I've ever, almost everything I've ever shot that I have a problem. It's digital, like I just look at it that way. I mean, I just keep it. The only thing I try not to keep now is like some of the render file. That thing crushes your computer. So if you guys are like in something like Final Cut and you're killing your space, after you're done with your Final Cut project, go back in and look at your render files. The render files, you probably have like 50 gigs of render files that you can delete. So if you're a Final Cut editor like myself, the render files, because it renders in the background, it just crushes your space. So after you're done with the edit and you export and you're fine with it, I normally would go back into my Final Cut file, and then there's a drop down in there where you can delete the render files. It doesn't delete anything else, so that if you ever need to go back in, all you just open up the file again, and it'll automatically start rendering again. But you will save literally like 50 to 100 gigs on your drive if you have a pretty intricate, edit. But even if you save 5 or 10 gigs on a basic edit, man, it adds up real fast. Steve, dude, thanks, man. Oh, man, I appreciate that, Steve. Yeah, you guys we are 20 away. 20 away. If you guys haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. We are 20 away from 200K. You guys get to be part of it if we can make it. Shout out to your channel, Brian. There it is. Brian, shout out to your channel. What's my pet peeve of drone flying? I don't know if it's a pet peeve. I mean, I'm in San Diego, so we get seagulls. That's it. When I see seagulls like circling, done. Sport mode, back. I'm out of there. Seagulls have probably cut so many of my video shoots, just my flying in half, because seagulls here in California, San Diego at least, are very territorial. So whenever you're in certain areas like Mission Bay is pretty bad. Some places in La Jolla are really bad. But that's the one thing you can't control. Like, you can't control that. So I'm fine having the drone far away. I know it's somewhat reliable. I can't control not seeing. Like, there's some times where I'll be, half a mile away. I still see the drone, but you don't see seagulls. And you're looking at your monitor and you're like, what was that? You just see something go, whoosh, and you're like, oh. You look up and you're like, you see a couple just circling. And then my recommendation, throw that thing in sport mode, go up, go around, come back in where you're able to get out of there. But there's some areas, and I went up to Santa Barbara, and I was finding this one bridge, and there was, I'm assuming it was probably because there's, multiple small like birds, and I'm sure there are nests and all this stuff over there. So they're very, very territorial, very protective of their area. And they were just all over my video. So pet peeve, birds. It's over. Takes one little bird to just knock it down, dude. Chad B, thanks, man. So close, so close. I'm 15 away. You guys can subscribe and then just unsubscribe to me after the channel. I'm just joking. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see here. Are you using third-party apps? No, I don't use third-party apps, and it's not. I have nothing against third-party apps. It's just I'm just very cautious on certain things because of the fact that I feel like the technology is so there and it's so honed in through DJI stuff. But I know there's a bunch of stuff. Drone mapping, drone made easy. I mean, light sheet. I'm just so many apps. I just haven't had the need to. A lot of people do it because they do mapping. A lot of people do photogrammetry. There's of course, if you DJI doesn't provide those things. I just don't do them. I'm definitely looking at getting people that do that stuff on the channel to talk through it. That whole space when I went to Airworks and, talking with a lot of some of my old drone friends that still do it. Amazing, amazing stuff. And I do want to get some people on to talk about that and, what's the best way to do it, approach it, safety things around it. What are some of the best apps out there to do those things? I do want to expand the channel out just to bring in some of those different types of drone fields in there that people want to know, because everyone knows about the photography, videography aspect of it, but people aren't seeing like the search and rescue. People aren't seeing so much of that on the mainstream channels. There's always stuff in the news about it, but ideally it'd be nice to give them a lot more exposure because they're doing a lot of those things that we hear about, right? The drone industry is so big, you're able to do it. But we're not seeing a lot of those people on camera or on YouTube or in general talking about those experiences. So I'd love to definitely bring those to light because the stuff that they're doing is life-saving, right? So if you guys know more people that's their profession, that's what they're doing, please shoot them over my way. We'd definitely love to talk about that. Let's see. All right, let's keep going here. Here's one. Can you talk about the Mavic Mini over the water? The Mavic Mini, or just some of the drones in general, you know that if you are flying really close to the water, right, the sensors on the water are sensing the ground or movement, and it's pinging back and forth. The thing that trips people out is the fact that, of course, if you're going to have waves that are moving, the sensor is not sensing it like it's a solid piece of ground. So the drone can maneuver a little bit. It's fluctuating. It's like if you're flying over a table, then not over a table, and over some. The waves are going to affect it, but that's only if you're really, really that close to the waves. I personally have never had any problems flying about 20 feet, 15, 20 feet above water so much. But just know that those sensors are there. And if you can't turn them off, then you might run into some issues. So I wouldn't, especially with the Mini, I probably wouldn't recommend flying close over water in general. I mean, whenever I fly through the piers or all the things, I'm always like, 100, 200 feet up in the air. So I'm not, that's no big deal at all. It's the people that are flying really, really close to the water. Just know that those sensors are sensing things below it. And if that thing is nonstop moving and rising and lowering, you're gonna expect that drone to also have to sense that and have to maneuver or do some changes around there. So close flying, definitely would not recommend it too much unless you're able to turn off the sensors. But the Mini, you're not. So. All right, what else we got here? Killer Strong, thanks for the super chat, man. Super fan of the channel. Live in Florida, out in Orange County. Thought I saw you at CrossFit. I need to get into a workout program here. That's one thing I need to fit in a little bit better into my my workout or my daily routine. I need to get off my butt and start doing something. But I have 3 kids, so that kind of keeps me working. Yeah, I mean, there it is. Seagulls. Like I said, La Jolla, Mission Bay, certain areas, they are ruthless. They'll actually, some of them will start flying around you while you're on the ground, just powering it up. It's pretty funny. You put it on the ground and you power up, and they hear that noise. It's like, oh boy, you can already see them above you. Mavic Mini or Spark? Mini. Mini. There's gonna be some things of the Spark that might entice you, but you are not going to regret the flight time and how well the Mini flies in the air. You have to remember the Spark is also 3 years old now. So you're talking about 3 years old of technology that has exploded, right? It's gotten so good. But yeah, I mean, if you need gesture control, no one really needs that. Those are fun. Those are fun, kind of things to have on there. Great for marketing. It just wasn't a thing. But so the Mini's more than enough. Your flight time alone is going to be well worth that. I think the Spark, I forgot what the Spark gets, like 10 minutes or something, 13, 12 minutes. And it's super loud. So, yeah. All right. Let's see here. What more questions do you guys have? I'm gonna jump back over here as well. Okay. Oh, here, Ben Wheels. What project do you wish you could have used back then before you owned one? So, great question. That was also from my community tab. I had my honeymoon was in Tahiti, Bora Bora, and Moorea. This was back in 2011. Oops, 2011. That now I have to go back. Like, this is pre action camera. This is pre drone days. So, gosh, if I could go back to something like that, and there was, of course, there's no rules, and I really want to go back to those islands and do that again. So, yeah, if I could go back and fly again, definitely would want to hit up the islands that I went to before, because that's something that now every place now, even Hawaii. I'm sure I don't know if 808 is still on here, but Hawaii is getting more restricted. A lot of places are getting more restricted, so it's a little frustrating, but man, it's super cool. Yeah, I know. All right, Jared, my 10 years next year. That's all I know. So we're good there. There you go. Would you consider traveling to shoot in the snow? Perhaps give us some tips on exposure filters. Snow is like anything else, right? And whoever flies, if you guys are here, I'm sure like people like Sean Osmond, you guys always find the snow. You're going to want to be able to have some filters to dial that down if you're trying to get the right, the proper shutter speed when it comes to video. So yeah, you're going to need some good strong ND filters, maybe some ND 32s in there if you're shooting around a lot of snow. That way you're able to bring down that shutter speed if you're trying to get a little bit more of that motion blur. If you don't care too much, and you're shooting super high up, you can always crank up the shutter speed. No one's going to really know too much if you're really high up in the air. It's really when you're closer to the ground that shutter speed really makes a difference, because of the fact that you start seeing that little small movement, that blur in your videos, which smooths things out. So if you're talking about snow, where everything's of course going to be super overexposed, super white, then you're going to want to have, and you can't adjust the aperture like you can on the Mavic 2 Pro. So you're going to have to bring in some ND filters in there to bring down that light so that you can match up with your shutter speed. So yeah, anything with snow, I would say definitely look into a good range set of ND filters to help you achieve the proper shutter speed on your video. And then for photos, you can always just crank up that shutter speed if you're just trying to freeze frame it, so you don't have to worry about that. Hopefully that answered your question, Liquid Arms. Now you make me want to go to your channel and see if you're just ripped. Timothy Thompson. Sorry, I'm late. You're not late. You're good, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for super chat. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Oh, 10 away. 10 away. 10 people away. There's 130 of you. If 10 people just hit subscribe that aren't subscribed, we are good to go. We can all enjoy our Sunday. Go about our day. I'm just joking. Keep those questions coming, guys. This is kind of cool. And one more check-in: is audio's good? Lighting's okay? I'm only asking that because this is the first time I've actually used. This is StreamYard for my stream, so I'm just trying to see if it works. If this is dialed in enough, then I'd definitely like to do some more streams. So yeah, if it's good, give me like a thumbs up or something. Let me know that the stream is working good and it's clear enough for you guys. All right. Hey, what channels on YouTube do you use for? I'm 808. I mean, man, that's a hard one because inspiration comes from so many different things. Like it just depends on what I'm trying to get inspired by, right? You have a lot of the pretty standard filmmakers out there that everyone, most YouTubers know that do great cinematic footage in video. So if I want to level up my, like my camera game, right? That you go to certain channels that talk about certain things. When it comes to YouTube on looking at drone stuff, yeah, I mean, a lot of people that inspire me now too is the people that do a lot of the cinematic drone stuff with, a lot of the race drones. I talked to Mike earlier about, from Drone Supremacy and a few others out there that are really getting into that side. And that's another thing, right? So you look at some of those things, it's hard to say which ones, because they inspire me, I would say, in different levels, right? You have the people who are that do really good cinematic stuff and they talk about the cameras and all that gear. Then I have people I look at and say, how do I enhance my audio? So I'm looking at so many people. So yeah, definitely it really depends on what you're trying to be inspired by. And then what are you grabbing from them? So I don't really look towards any one person, because everyone, like, I'll look at the Team Crispy of like MKBHD and how they shoot them, and like Unbox Therapy, and some of those bigger people. But you also look at what they're doing. So I do product reviews, so I look at what they do, how they do things, for inspiration as far as some of my product reviews. But I don't look to them for drone inspiration. I'll look to some other people for drone inspiration for those things. So I think it really depends on where and what you're getting your information from and what you're trying to achieve from it. So if I'm trying to learn more about my Sony camera, then I'll look towards some of those Sony heavy types of channels, like the Jason Vong and some of those guys that mostly focus around the Sony gear. If I need to and want to level this up, right? And then if for drone stuff, same thing. I'll look to some cinematic people, or I'll look to see, a lot of people normally don't do a lot of drone specific things, because it's hard to think that you're looking for a drone channel to just be to grab something from, besides, because it comes out to like it's a review channel in a way, right? Most drone operators that are really good aren't drone channels. They add drone footage to that story, but they're not a drone channel. So I'll look to them as I'll look to some people as for the inspiration as far as how they tell the story, things like that. So I think it's a pretty broad spectrum of things that I look towards to gain inspiration from. So I wouldn't say there's necessarily those certain types of people that I always go to. You just have to pull from so many different people. Like I know people don't go to me on my channel and go, I'm going to learn how to shoot and tell a story. Like I'm not a storyteller, right? So I don't think people are coming to my channel to learn how to make stories. I think they come here to gain information about what's new, what's out, how to use something. So I think as long as I provide that to my audience, I think that I've achieved what I need to achieve. However it's shot, I'll use everything. I'll use higher end cameras, and I'll use my action on my GoPro or Osmo Action or something like that. So All right, let's see here. Whoa, DVD Explorer. Thanks, man. I use it to hike a lot. Which drone do you recommend? Um, Same thing with that. Mini or the Air 2. Hiking is kind of cool. The only say I would say probably the Air 2 is that if you do hike a lot, I think you definitely benefit from using the active track stuff just to get you some unique footage, right? Because if you did hike and you wanted to get some nice perspectives of you hiking, one person to watch, um, he doesn't do well, he adds drone footage to his video. You guys watch Craig Adams. Craig Adams, amazing video, and he literally doesn't talk the entire video. He just goes somewhere and hikes for 20, 40 miles, and he sets up his camera on the ground and he hikes and he moves and he sets up his camera. I had the pleasure of hanging out with him over at Camera Camp last year, and with him and a bunch of other YouTubers, and kind of hearing how he works and how he does a lot of his things. Really good insight on just his perspective on his YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. It's Craig Adams with a K. But he does really good stuff. So if you hike a lot, I would say probably look into a Mavic Air 2, because of the fact you could probably get some good tracking shots of you actually hiking that you can splice in there as extra B-roll for your storytelling of that hike. If you have a Mini, you actually have to control it and frame yourself. But with something like the Air 2, you can active track it, do a little bit of a hike, bring it back in, active track it again, and while you get to another location. So you can kind of have all of those really, really unique type of shots in your video. So I'd probably say the Mavic Air 2 at the bare minimum. All right, what else we got here? How are we doing on numbers? Oh man, 6 away. It's 6 away. If there's 6 people out there, and just smash that subscribe button. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, so Mark, yeah, I mean, same thing. Active track on the Skydio 2, definitely that is where I think the Skydio, from what I see and what I hear, that's where it excels, right? It excels in those spaces right there. Is something like that when you're able to use it in certain situations like that, like hiking. So yeah, at the bare minimum, I would say look in the Mavic Air 2 and then possibly that Skydio 2. It'd be really good. Those are 2 probably really good options for you. Get to me. I could get a controller view in my drone's camera. All right, let me see here. Going back to a couple of the questions here. Sorry if I missed it. Yeah, favorite drone question. Very similar stuff. Which one do you choose? Mavic Pro or Air 2? I would choose the Air 2. Very similar to what I said earlier. Even though Mavic Pro, I still have my Pro Platinum, and amazing drone. I think that thing is still so far ahead, even compared to some of the other drones that are out there right now. And that thing's 3 years old. And it's kind of very similar to what I talked about with the Spark. That drone in general is so good that but I would still probably pick the Air 2. The one thing I do miss on the Pro was, if you guys don't know, the Mavic Pro original, you were able to actually move the camera, could actually go from landscape to portrait, which I thought was super cool. So if I wanted to do a vertical shot on the drone, I can actually do that in 4:3 on the whole camera actually turns. And I did a bunch of tutorials on that and how I was able to utilize that vertical shot and then do panoramics that way. That way I'm able to get an extra 1,000 pixels top and bottom on my shot in my photo mode, and then I would stitch those instead of me doing a full multi-layer panoramics like I used to. That I do miss on the Pro, but same thing when it comes to just the updates. You have to think that the Mavic Air 2 has everything that the Pro has to an extent. I think there's one or two things that the Pro has that the Air 2 doesn't, but I think the Air 2 just has and kind of checks off all those boxes. Yeah, it's still a good camera. It's still a good drone all around. Very surprised how well it's held up over this long. It's such a good camera, or such a good drone. Oh, thanks, Ruben. Appreciate that, man. No questions. Just want support. Appreciate the support. And oh, for sure, if you guys did pick up some of that merch, that's awesome. Send me some shots. I'd love to share them on my on some of my media. So if you guys do want to share anything you guys were able to pick up from the merch or the shop, that's cool. That's crazy. How do you travel with the drone? How do you travel international with drone? I think now regulations have changed so much. I'm not going to give any hard advice on that because of the fact that I think I've heard of some people that go to the airport trying to go somewhere, then they'll tell them they'll confiscate it at the airport. You just have to look into the regulations and what you're able to do. I know a lot of places have been regulating them or telling them that he can't bring it in. So when it comes to traveling, as far as cases go, I'll probably use like a GPC case or a hard case to travel in. But if you're talking about regulations and rules, I'm not going to know about that. You have to just basically contact the airports and see what you're able to bring in or not. Wait, of course, man. I'm gonna get out to see. I think you're the Big Island though, right? I need to get my family's in Oahu, so we might need to meet somewhere. I'll meet you at my favorite island still, which is Kauai. So I'll meet you over there. What stitching software do you use? I use Lightroom and Photoshop. For my photos, I will normally use Lightroom to get all of the photos that I shoot color corrected, and then I will bring that into. I'll do like the photo merge panoramics in Lightroom. I'll do most of my basic exposure stuff there, and then once I bring it over to Photoshop, that's where I will do a lot of the cleanup in Photoshop. You have a lot more flexibility as far as manipulating the photo. Easier with the clone, easier with straightening out horizons and things like that. So I will definitely use Lightroom to batch the photos and then possibly do the photo merge in there. And then I will finish it out in Photoshop. And I'm just used to it. I have a lot, I'm so used to the environment in Photoshop. I have a lot more control over things like that. So for me, it's Lightroom and then Photoshop. Yeah, man. Big Island. When I went to Big Island, I did the Blue Hawaii tour over the volcano. Still one of my best things I've ever done. Except on the way back after seeing the volcano, the guy at the volcano he was just whipping it around, and I almost threw up on the way back. So other than that, seeing the lava through the rocks, seeing it hit the shore, seeing all that smoke. Oh man. Once again, one of those things I did before drones, before I had other cameras and action cameras. I definitely, those are more places like that I want to go back to. Which one do I prefer, Go for or Fly? You know what's funny is the fact that I've just been on the Fly app so long that I need to go back to the 4 just to see exactly what you have. A lot more information presented to you on the 4 app. So I think if you understand the information on there, it helps you a lot. The Fly app, I know a lot of people say they don't like it compared to the 4, but the the fly app was really intended to simplify everything when the Mini came out. And what I would hope in the future that we can do is have it so that any user, and if DJI is watching or any company is watching, give the user the option, right? Have your screen available there, but have toggles on and off that do you want to see this on the home screen or not? Do you want to see this on the main screen? Do you want to see it on your heads up display or whatever it might be? But maybe give that option to the user of what we see. Because I think the Fly app is good for the beginner because it just gives you a limited amount. You don't need to know exactly X amount of things. You know, like the 4 app would give you so much detail sometimes, but most people wouldn't even use it or don't understand it. And that's where the Fly app came in. It said, hey, well, we don't need to tell. Like initially when it came out, it's kind of funny. When the Fly app came out, they're like, we're not even going to show you how many satellites you got. You know, like no. You got to, you know, most people like when it came out, you have to show us the satellite. We need to know. But most new flyers aren't going to realize that. All you're waiting for as a new flyer is for it to say, go fly, right? But old flyers that are used to the Go 4 app will go, I'm not flying until I not only see go fly, I want it to see at least have, 8 or 10 satellites connected. So you have a lot of the old school, new school there where DJI is trying to clean it up. You know, they're not going to give you the go fly option until you hit an X amount of satellites. If you didn't know that those satellites existed, no one would even know, right? So as an older flyer, you just really are, you just know about it. So it makes you think, twice. And when you see it, that you wish you had a little bit more detail on it. And then sometimes you're like, okay, I'm actually glad I don't have that much detail on it. Refreshed. We are there. Woo! 200K. Thank you guys for being here. All 109 of you. Thank you for joining. That is awesome. Now, don't unsubscribe until we leave the live stream, because then it's going to be oddly funny. Because I know some of you guys will. But thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. We did it. 100 of you guys are watching, and we just crossed the 200K on live. How cool is that? So thank you guys so much. And I definitely want to still answer some more questions here. We've been on for about an hour and a half. That's really cool that I was able to time it to get it to that point. So thank you guys. That is awesome. And I'll just throw you guys. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Recovery, Mike Miller, Timothy. Thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. Awesome, you guys. I'll throw you guys on screen. Proud to be part of 200K. This is all you guys. This is all driven by you guys. So you guys help me make the channel because you guys are giving me the feedback. So thank you guys. Steve, of course, man. You're always there. Appreciate it. Yeah, get ready for that 200K giveaway. I actually have a couple drones I'm going to be giving away. I'll do a separate one on that one. And, make sure that that's out there. I have a Mavic Mini as here, Mavic Air. I think I have original Mavic Air, Mavic Mini as well. So we definitely will be doing that. Holy cow. What's up, fam? What's up, Ed? Thanks, man. You did not need to do that, but thanks, dude. Holy cow. I appreciate it. Awesome you guys are here doing this with me. So thanks, Edwin. I really appreciate it. That is awesome. Hope to see you guys soon. Oh, man. Thanks, Thomas. Thank you. Uh-oh, Maxwell. What's up, Max? Thanks, dude. Appreciate you guys. A couple more things that let's see here. There is a let me see here. Yeah, I'm gonna do another video, and if you guys have more questions, make sure you throw those down below. But I am gonna do another video because I have a couple of giveaways I'm gonna be giving out. And actually, if you guys are part of this stream, I'm actually pulling this information from the stream later, and I'm going to be doing some giveaways for people that participated in this stream. So I do thank you guys for being here. That's awesome. Lon, thank you, man. Thanks, Wilson. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, if there's something new, I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that you guys have, and I'm not sure which drone you guys are flying, or if you're not flying any at this point. But let me know if there's specific types of videos you guys are looking towards. I mean, I did the firmware one. I think that definitely got some good response, mainly because of the fact that there was so much new stuff in that firmware that people wanted to know about. I mean, of course, the smart controller will be another one. It's interesting about the smart controller because I think it's a great topic. I just have a feeling not that many people have it, and that's just my opinion. But I'm kind of curious on how many people on my viewers actually have the smart controller. It's really cool to have, but I'm just kind of curious to know actually people. If you guys have it, let me know. I'm sure the appeal is going to be there for a lot of people because of the fact that if you can now get the Air 2 in combination with the smart controller, that'll be. I wonder if DJI is going to make a little package deal for that, like $1,000 or something for Mavic Air 2 with smart controller, and then you get like a case, or I don't know, or you go to GPC and get a case or something like that. So that would be really cool. Yeah. So Mark, yeah, you guys got it. Yeah, but you guys have it. I mean, that's good to hear. I probably need to do an update on mine. I think for some reason it was last time I flew it, it was running a little bit choppy. I think I might be on the super old firmware or software on there. So I definitely need to update that, check that out, and see if there's some new stuff on the smart controller. But I think everyone's waiting. Everyone's waiting for that update, man. Just because there's so many people that have the Mavic Air 2 that already had the smart controller from flying it with their Mavic 2 Pros and the Mavic 2 Zooms. So let me see. I wonder if it did this update on my. Let's see if it updated yet on my channel. Did it update? No, it didn't update yet. That's okay. Oh man, thank you guys very much. Yeah, we just crossed the 1.5 hour mark. Did not think I would go an hour and a half, but happy to. Not a problem. This is super cool. Let me know if you guys have more questions. I'd like to probably get in some more questions answered for you guys if I can answer them for you within the next, maybe 5 or 10 minutes or so if I want to stay on here. But definitely stoked to have you guys part of this new milestone. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Thanks for Richard. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm just sharing experiences, right? I think that's the biggest thing for a lot of people that want to do YouTube in general. Don't overthink it. I think once you just come at it as though you're just sharing an experience that you had, and not overthink the camera quality or the production value. And as long as you're coming at it to a point of what value you adding to that industry or to that subject matter, and that's all you have to and should kind of worry about. I think what happened to me when I started it, I worried too much. I want to do YouTube channel, but I can't do it unless I have this, and I can't do it unless I have a camera. I can't. I mean, you don't need it. You actually don't need it. You don't need that stuff. As long as the nuggets you're providing the audience, that there's value in it. No one, like 99% of the people, don't care what it's shot on. Even with a drone, people always go, what do I have to have? You don't have to have anything. If you're using literally that drone to show a 5-second clip, no one's going to look at that entire video you just did and go, I wonder if it was shot on something. Now, if you're doing something for services and professional use, of course, right? Just like a camera, you're not going to shoot professionally in a sense that you might need it to give to a client with, a smaller phone or point and shoot. You know, ideally, if you're delivering service products to people, yeah, you're going to need to provide them a higher quality. But if it's for yourself and for your personal use and your Instagram and you know, no one's going to know. No one's going to know what camera you used, what drone you used. As long as they walked away from whatever you're talking about or showing with some sort of value, then you succeeded, right? Unless your channel is specifically made to say, hey, this is the way you get the absolute best for a specific type of use. But as you guys know, you can make, you know, a business out of anything. You can make the quality out of anything look really good with enough work. So I would say just don't let the gear limit you and slow you down from a lot of these things. And that's what I want to give to you guys in this video a lot is, you guys, all the YouTubers can give you recommendations all day, but you'll know when it's time to upgrade, right? You'll know that if I maxed out my Mavic Air 2, I'll know that I'll need to upgrade because of a specific reason, right? I have a point and shoot RX100, but I also have the Sony 6400, and I'm shooting with the A673 III. I didn't upgrade that until I found the reason to upgrade it on specific reasons. Like I went from that to a full frame because of where I was shooting and why I was shooting certain things, where I needed a low light. I was shooting a lot more conferences. I was shooting a lot more indoor things where the low light of the A7 III helped a lot, right? That was the reason why I felt like there was some sort of upgrade necessary that I felt like I could benefit from and my audience could benefit from. But other than that, I use my Sony A6600 90% of the time right now because it's just like a really good all-around camera. So I would say just don't let things like that stop you and think, oh man, I would do it too if I had that. You really don't need that. That's just my kind of takeaway for a lot of stuff, that when it comes to like gear, you know, don't overthink the gear because you can make amazing stuff with the Mini. And as you guys probably seen, you can follow some other YouTubers out there. You can do cinematic stuff with GoPros, action cameras, you know, all that stuff. It's just how you use it, what you're doing with it. Are you taking advantage of all the features of it? Things like that. So yeah, don't get caught up. Thank you. The new yay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Should I buy the GoPro display mod? Oh man, I don't even want to talk about that. What a waste. What a waste. Gosh, GoPro. I really, I'm begging. I'm not begging. I don't really care. I'm wishing that they're coming out with something revolutionary in this next round. The GoPro mod. $80 to put on a mic that people don't use. You have to have the $80 mic mod, the frame, in order for you to put the $80 screen on that still hasn't released. That was displayed at CES in January. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know what GoPro's doing. I love their products, but I'm just kind of dumbfounded on what happened. Nothing got released. They got a mic and a light. Two things that people aren't going to, and the mic is not waterproof. So there you go. And then the monitor is not waterproof. And then the lights, I don't even know if the light's waterproof, but you can't use the light because you need a cold shoe, but the cold shoe is on the mod and that's not what. So, talk about frustrating hopes. If people have the GoPro 8 and they're like, oh my God, it's going to be a beast of a vlog and all purpose. And it's later, what are we, August? 8 months later, we still have not gotten the screen mod. I think I'll be honest with you, I think they know that they're so far behind that they have to scrap it. They have to scrap it and just come out the GoPro 9 with a screen. And then it's pretty much going to be an Osmo Action at that point, unless they come out with some ridiculous features that people might not. I mean, GoPro needs to do kind of what, you know, the Sony is doing right now versus the Canon. You don't need 8K. You don't need 6K. You just need a really maxed out 4K beast with a front screen. And I think that might be it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what GoPro has in store. Timothy Thompson, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the chat. Appreciate the super chat also, and thanks for hanging out, man. That was really cool. Yeah, GoPro overheats. Favorite music. Favorite Mavic. Talked about this earlier. Favorite Mavic right now, still Mavic Air 2 and the Mavic 2 Pro are still the go-tos. Which one's better, Air 2 or Phantom 4 Pro Standard? Is there a Phantom 4 Pro Standard? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it just Phantom 4 Standard, or is it still Phantom 4 Pro Standard? Either way, I'd probably say, well, Phantom 4 Pro, right? V2? Would that be, or is that the original? Would that be the original Phantom 4 Pro original then? If it's the original, I'd probably still lean towards the Air 2 because of its portability and size. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. Yeah, not Pro Standard. Okay, that's what confused me. I leave for 20 minutes and he comes back. I'll have to do anything. That's funny. He's gonna leave again. Maybe I'll come back with even more. What am I using to edit? I'm actually using a 2008 MacBook Pro. It's actually not that. 2018, 15-inch MacBook Pro, 2.6 gigs, 6-core Intel i7, 16 gig memory. Yeah, it's an older MacBook Pro, but it works. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Get more a couple more questions in here. Still have 109 of you in here, and I appreciate all you guys that have come by, that have hit that subscribe button. You guys are the ones that I'm doing videos for. You guys are the ones that help me cross over a big milestone. So hopefully the value I'm providing you guys is what you guys are hoping to get, or hoping it's working for you guys. I'm definitely trying to address all those questions and answers that you guys normally put on my comments. So every time I post a video, of course, I get a lot of questions. Can I do this? Can I do that? I'm not seeing things. So it was actually really fun for me to do some of these things, like the troubleshooting one. Everyone was saying, hey, I just updated the app, but I'm not seeing it, or it's not working. And then once I went through a few times of like what is going on, I'm like, okay, well, let me just go through exactly what I'm doing. And the idea behind deleting the app, for instance, is actually an old school trick. It's kind of like deleting your browser, right? Clearing your cache and things like that, where you just have to do a clean slate and you'll start seeing things update. So a lot of people weren't seeing things. So it was good for me to do that troubleshooting video because a lot of people were having issues with it, but it seemed like a lot of people were just upgrading one thing and not the other. So they're only getting half of that update. When will DJI get an underwater device like a drone? I don't know. I mean, there's a few. I actually do have a underwater drone that I haven't brought out yet and reviewed. I got it a long time ago, but since this whole lockdown, it's only been recently when I've been able to get out a lot more. I feel comfortable getting out a lot more. So I just have to find a place and time to review that underwater drone. I don't know if DJI will get it, maybe. But I feel like those underwater drones are really so limiting, right? I mean, they might don't get me wrong. They might add it in their lineup in the future just for the sake of having it. Why not? They have all the technology to do it. And it's not like it'll take a big chunk of, their revenue is not going to come from underwater drones. I would highly doubt, but just to be in the space, why not? I don't see why they wouldn't be. Yep. I mean, if anything, yeah, DJI, I would say FPV racing drone could be in the works. I'd hope so. That'd be awesome. Something that's a super easy, kind of like how I built the RoboMaster. They would be super awesome if DJI did that with a race drone, where you make it so it's in kind of built like a tank, yet gives you all the information on there, and plug and play to show you, but have really good explanations of what it's doing, what controls it is, what the motor is, how to tune it. I think that's something that DJI can easily do, and I really hope they do it. Gordon, hello. I will say hi. Can a Mavic Mini be used in the rain? Sure. Don't expect it to come back though. But you can use it in the rain. You can use all the drones in the rain except for the other. You can't. I mean, you recommend to do it? No. Will it work? Yeah, it might work in some drizzle. If you move the drone around a little bit more, it'll work. But no, you're not gonna fly these things in rain. What's up from KY Rocky Northern? What is up? What about snow? Light snow, same thing. I actually flew it. If you guys saw the one I did when I hit the 100,000 mark, I flew it in light. No, it wasn't. It was a long. Actually, it was a long time ago. There was I flew the Phantom, I think 2, in light snow. Light snow. So anything light, you can get away with it. But I'm not gonna. Anything that's you already know is going to damage it is definitely not recommended. Nice. Get some love from PI. CJ, what's up, man? What time is it over there? San Diego. Ooh, Kauai grown. What is up? Kauai is still my favorite island. If that's what you mean by Kauai, that's still my favorite island so far. Yeah, we talked about this earlier. Mavic 3 expectations. We will see, man. It's there's definitely some high expectations around it, so we'll see what they have up their sleeve. It's going to be exciting. I don't know. I'm kind of curious if it's even a release this year. We're already in almost August, September. I don't know. You would normally think that we would have like even some like higher speculation stuff at this point, because of the fact if you look at the time frame, right, it would need to ideally launch in, and I don't know the time frames for the past ones, but you just assume that if they're trying to say, we'll just say that they're trying to hit like the holiday break, so you're going to want it to be in November-ish, right? So you're going to have to October. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't see why they have to release it. I don't think that there's the demand. I mean, the demand might be there, but the state of the economy and what's going on, it ain't going to be a cheap drone. So I don't know how many people are going to sit around and go, oh, I have an extra, $2,000 to spend. I want to start my YouTube channel. Would like to hear what made you start doing and how did you go from the beginning? Find a need of or find a space. If you don't know what your niche is, I mean, I like drones. I've been flying since 2013 when I got a Phantom 1. So when I went online before, I saw that there was only a couple of things and a couple of people talking about it, and I'm like, well, I had something to offer. It's not great. I don't know. I wasn't shooting video well, but it doesn't matter. And I think that's the biggest thing with YouTube is that people stop or feel like it's an oversaturated market, which is like exactly the opposite, right? So, I don't know how you pronounce it as a spill cav. I apologize, but realize that it is so not saturated that you would be surprised on the traffic or the people you bring in, as long as you're producing quality content that provides people. The problem with the people on YouTube is that they'll put a lot of stuff up there and go, oh, I made 50 videos and I only have 50 views and 20 views and 100 views, and then no one's watching it. And then, I'll check it out and I'm like, well, then, I mean, it's hard to watch something unless either it's a specific niche or you're providing a lot of value for those people, right? Because if you watch your video, so what I do is I watch my video and I'll shoot a video and I'll cut it down for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever it might be. Because at any point, if you feel like that you lost your audience and you're not getting value from it, and you're the one who's editing it and making it, and if you aren't getting value from it, then for sure someone else is not going to get value from it. Someone else is going to, someone's going to bounce real quick because they're going to be like, okay, well, what am I getting from it, right? So if you don't set that stage up front, I think, holy cow, I think, what's up, Flossie? You're not gonna, you'll lose them, right? And I think that's the biggest thing is people always say niche down, niche. I say yes, it's great to have a focus, but your first like 100 videos are gonna suck, right? So I say that if you don't have a niche yet, just shoot and edit, shoot and edit, shoot and edit, shoot and edit, because by the time you get to the 10th video, you're gonna be like, you know what? I actually hate this. I actually hate editing, and then maybe you just want to stop there, but you're not gonna know, right? And don't overthink the gear, because by the time you get there, your audience will now tell you what they like seeing from you, right? For instance, on my channel, we all know, you look at my numbers, it's a drone channel focused. Once I do a tripod one, look at 2,000 views. Don't get me wrong. Not that it's not, but you look at the numbers where my audience is. So if I kept doing tripod reviews, my audience is going to say like, all right, what's going on, dude? Or if I'm doing more battery pack reviews. But the thing is, those things still fit in my space. I'm still using drones as my main, channel source, but I use cameras. So I love talking about cameras. Why not? Yeah, I'm still using it to shoot my videos. I'm still using it to do the B-roll. I'm still using it to help tell my story. So things like that, I know it's not going to hit on my channel, but I'm happy doing them because of the fact that I'm learning something new. And the camera people aren't my target market, but there's still going to be 1 or 2 people that might get value from what I'm going to share about it. And as long as those people get the value from it, I'm happy, right? You're not going to cater to everybody. You can't make everyone happy. I have a notification squad of people who just dislike my videos, right? Like I'll post it and like instantly 5 dislikes. Now I don't know if they're bots, but but they're part of my notification squad literally just to dislike my videos. It's okay. Like but as long as you're doing things, but I would definitely say once you get into a space and you know what works, then you have to like 10x what works, but still splash in things that make you happy, right? Things that that you enjoy doing. So I hope that works. And that's kind of what made me do it. Drones just made me happy. They still made me happy, but at the same time, you still have to, cater to all the other things, right? Like I just did a battery, these battery packs are so invaluable now. If you guys are following my Instagram, we just had multiple blackouts and I'm like sitting here calm in my house now, like, oh, I'm just gonna plug in stuff here because now I have this battery pack, which I would never have thought that I would care about so much until now everyone's, prepping and city prepping. And, so I'm like, I'm using this tech stuff. It's part of my, part of what I do. I'm charging my drones with it. So it's still kind of drone related. And it makes me happy to do and share one of my experiences with it. And I think that's what you have to do is just get in it and see what works for you. And I know I'm rambling, but it's fun. It's fun that way. You just kind of see what works for you, and your audience will tell you. Your audience will tell you when you suck and the video sucks. Don't worry about that. They don't lie to you. Yeah. So hope that works. Flossie Carter, what is up, man? Thank you so much for the super sticker. And if I'm not sure if you guys are also in other tech reviews, Flossie Ridiculous channel, just straight killing it out there. Make sure you guys check out his channel. But same thing, does product reviews with his oh my god, now you're gonna be mad at me. I forgetting your cat's name. It's like, oh shoot. But if you want product reviews, and he does like a lot, like a lot of the mobile phone stuff, but even his channel, he just gets into it. He just tells you straight up what's he doing with it. What's he like and don't like about it? What's in the box? I mean, and he keeps it simple and straightforward. And you can kind of tell it's just real talk, talking about the product, And so that's how you get into the space of YouTube. You just kind of just be you. There's drone people out there that follow my channel that don't follow another drone channel and that don't follow another channel. And there's people that follow their channels that don't follow mine. And everyone thinks that oh my God, there's so many other drone channels. There's so many other tech channels. You're right. But you know what? They're not following you and they're not following them, so people will gravitate to certain people. So the market is saturated with content, but there's space for it, right? There's space for the content and there's space for people. And I think that's what people have to realize is that there's space for it because people will follow. I follow Flossie because of his personality. Like the way he talks about the gear, you're just like, all right, he just gets straight into it and it's just fun to watch. So, but you're going to get people who do tech reviews that are boring to watch, and then you just don't follow them as much as you'd like to. So it just really depends on what you have to provide for the audience and how you do it, and let the people just naturally follow or unfollow, and that's kind of what it works. Oh man, B Max became a YouTube member. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I tell you, I forgot that even comes up on here. So that's kind of cool. There's a membership thing too for people that do membership. I really don't promote it as much. I only did it recently, but yeah, just like that join button below the screen that people can be members of this, and the members of Team Flight. I normally just give you guys a lot of behind the scenes stuff of what I'm working on, what's coming up next on the channel, any extra discounts that I have. If you're members of that, you'll normally get, it's a members community tab within YouTube. At this point, I don't do Patreon and other things like that just yet. There's so many things going on, but like with the community tab, so I'll normally post like, hey, this is what's coming up on the channel. We're going to be talking about this. Here's some new products that came in, discounts and things like that I'll normally throw your guys' way. So yeah, if you guys want a little bit more BTS stuff on the channel, there is that join button below any one of my videos, and you become a member. You get cool little avatars and little icons and things like that. So, but more about just, the support of the channel, which I really appreciate you guys. So thanks, BMac. Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. Flossie, you got this white shoes. There you go. There you go. I was about to say White Paws, but White Paws is actually what my cat's name was. And that's the first thing that came to my mind, but it's White Shoes. Yeah, you got the hate squad, dude. Awesome. that hate squad for you. I want to see some more of your BMW videos too. Your cars are sick. Man, we're rolling. We're at 2 hours. If you guys are cool with it, I'm just gonna keep rolling until my kid comes in here and pulls me away. But I'm down. If you guys, I appreciate the people that came through. I'll keep rolling for a little bit as long as you guys are interacting and have some questions for me, and not too bored. But I definitely want to answer some of these questions, and this is super fun. Does a large statue made of metal affect a drone? Yes. Anything metal will affect a drone. People that fly and launch off of cars, just don't do it, man. Yeah, you try to look cool, just don't do it. The compass is right there at the bottom. I mean, the compass is here, right? This is sitting on your metal hood. What do you think is going to happen? Besides you trying to look cool, you're probably going to screw something up. You're probably going to get some magnetic interference. It'll show up on the screen, yada, yada, yada. That's why, like, if I have to fly, if I have to launch off of like a parking garages are like very sketch. So whenever you fly off a parking garage, if you put it on the ground, know that there's so much rebar and metal around you that the compass will normally trip out. It'll give magnetic interference on your drone almost all the time when you're flying from a parking garage. So if you ever find yourself on like the top of a parking garage, what I normally do I will hold it up in the air. As you guys see in most of my videos, I will normally hand launch it, hand catch it. If you're in a parking garage, hold it up in the air and do your hand launch. That way the compass is not literally sitting on the ground and possibly giving you that interference. Hold it up in the air, do the launch and takeoff. If you guys don't know how to do launch and takeoff, check out my channel. I have a how to hand launch and hand catch your drone. Watch that video because that way you can bring this up, 4 or 5 feet off the ground. You're not going to get the magnetic interference around there. Let it take off from your hand, let it hover there, and then you'll hear home point has been set. If home point's set, then you're good to go and fly away. but try not to launch it from like a parking garage, the ground, because of the fact you'll more than likely get magnetic interference, which will not allow you to get a solid GPS location, which could then turn into a possible flyaway. So I hope that answered your question, DVD Explorer. Hey, what's up, Metro Drones? Good seeing you here. Thank you, 200,000. I didn't lose that many. I actually gained a couple. So 200,020. That's so cool. Oh, man. Let's see here. Yeah, if you have more questions, throw them in here. Just got the... hey, Paul, how's it going? So yeah, I just got the Evo 2 8K coming from DJI Mavic Pro. Okay, original. Any tips and things that come to mind I should make note of? The 8K, I'll be honest with you, I probably would have gone the 6K route. I hate saying that. It sucks telling somebody that. But the 8K and the Mavic Pro have the same sensor size. Well, the 8K is probably like tiny, like a point something bigger. But then I have the 8K as well, and I'm not seeing like the difference in quality wise because of the fact it's not like a true 8K, right? It's like it's still using the kind of like that dual shoot, blank in my mind. The same that the Mavic Air is doing, but it's giving you that 48 megapixel. But the biggest difference I'm seeing is with that 6K camera. So the Evo 6K is very similar to like what you're going to get from the Mavic 2 Pro. That you do see a big quality difference because you just have to realize that the larger sensor is always going to capture and have larger pixels, have more, better, higher quality than it is just doing what the 8K is doing on a smaller sensor. It's very similar to like how cell phones have like, oh, we have 96 megapixel, but the sensor size is still super, super tiny. So all it's really doing is splitting, giving you technically a higher number, but you're not getting a higher quality image, right? And that's the reason why a lot of times even use sports cameras, right? Sports cameras have like 12 megapixels, right? 12 or 16. But the quality you're getting from them are amazing because they're also full frame cameras. So the larger sensor, you're getting such a higher quality image per pixel than you are with the 8K because it's still kind of splitting those things along the way. So yeah, that's what kind of sucks with it, which is good and bad. And honestly, editing 8K is going to be very, very hard. So I hate to say that stuff to you, Paul, but the 8K is another. It's even more work to edit that thing. So, but congrats on that, and not many tips I could say from it because of the fact that, like I said, it's just get a fast computer if you're going to really shoot true 8K or not really true 8K. If you're going to really shoot 8K and edit that in 8K. You're gonna need some processing power. Yeah. So let's see here. You have any other? Yeah, Brian, do I know any other ways of making it drones quieter? Yeah, I don't. I hear about the I think the master screw propellers or some of that. I've never used them yet. I know a lot of YouTubers that have used them or have talked about it on their channels say they like them. I haven't used them yet, so I don't really have much tips unless most of all the new drones now are using those low noise propellers. So that's all I have. I haven't tried those master screw ones. No updates on Mavic Air, Mavic Pro 2, so no, nothing there. GoPro 8 or Osmo Action or Insta360R as my first action camera. Action cameras come along the same way as any other camera. It's what are you gonna? Insta360, their 360 is really good. Okay, I'll give them that. So I do have the Insta360 R edition, but majority of the time I will use the 360 mod if anything. The 1 inch is really cool too, but it's just a little bit bigger. And the one thing with Insta 360 is that you have to. There's tiny little quirks of Insta 360 that very similar to how the GoPro is. That kind of annoy me is like the battery door. I mean the SD card door, and it's a 1 inch. If you want to change stuff out, you have to take the whole thing out of the casing. I've had the 1 inch kind of cover fog up on me a couple times. But with the Insta360R, I will use the 360 camera on there a lot because it's waterproof, and that I really like. So, of those cameras, yeah, if it might be your first action camera, you might getting the Insta360R Twin Edition, so you have a regular 4K camera and the 360 camera is probably it's a pretty decent deal. But I'm always still gonna be, for me at this point, still the Osmo Action, because it's easy and pocketable and all-purpose with a front cam and back cam. The Insta360R does have the camera. You can switch it from front cam to back cam, but you have to disassemble it. So there's a lot of pros and cons for both. And for your first action camera, you might benefit from like an Insta360 Twin Edition, but just know that when you do anything 360, you're going to have to do a lot more post-production. So. All right, guys, how are we looking? We have the question of DJI refresh program. Yeah, I mean, I was actually working on a video about that. The Care Refresh program. Definitely recommend it. Whenever you buy a drone, I always get the refresh program, a Care Refresh program. These aren't race drones. These aren't DIY builds. Like, if you break, which is pretty common, you break this antenna, this compass, you're not just going to buy a part and fix it. And if you throw this back to DJI with a broken arm, and you don't have the Care Refresh program, it's going to cost you a few $100. Now, if you have their Care Refresh program, they will literally send you back a new one, or like a just as new refurb. And so, it sucks, but these aren't DIY builds. So I always recommend the refresh program, because you spend $100, whatever it is, $79, and then when you send it in, they send you a new one. You pay another fee of like $60 or something. Highly recommend it if they allow it if they have it in your area. Rocky Northern, Mavic 2 Pro versus Evo 2 Pro. Which do you prefer? I will still lean towards a Mavic 2 Pro because of its flight characteristics. The Mavic lineup in general runs smooth. You know what you're going to get. The Evo 2 is really good too. The quality of the camera is really good. But when it comes down to flight and maneuvering, the Mavic still has a bigger edge on the Evo platform. However, if you have an Evo 2 Pro, which is really, really good quality-wise, I recommend that. If you're in areas, even like here, I'm in San Diego, it's restricted everywhere. Like, you can't go more than 5 miles away from an airport here, or like a little small commuter airport. So if you are in a business, and you're in an area that has a lot of restrictions, and not trying to say that you need to bypass restrictions, I'm just saying that it allows you to then fly, at least get the drone up in the air in restricted areas that the Mavic wouldn't be able to even take off in. So, you could be 3 miles away from an airport, and say you're a realtor, you can't fly that Mavic, but you can fly the Evo 2. So if the business is being a realtor and flying drones, and you're in a place like this, like in San Diego, where there's a lot of restrictions as far as location goes, you're going to have some issues. Yeah, and that's what it is. See, I mean, you know what you're getting when you get a DJI product, right? Um, their flight is very well refined, I would say. All right, here we go. How do you use a drone as handheld? Can you use a drone handheld because it has a good gimbal? Yes. All you do is turn it on. It's all right if the things are. You can actually turn it on the way it is. It'll warm up this way. I kind of hold it up here because the motors do move a little bit. There you go. So if you actually did want to use this as a handheld gimbal, there you go. Hook it up to your phone, hook up to the remote control, hit record, and you can walk around. And if you're a realtor, and here you go, you can walk around the house and do some indoor drone shots with a handheld gimbal, basically. And it's kind of funny. There's a bunch of companies that have made handheld devices for the drones, so that you'd clamp it on here and then you just walk around using this as a handheld. You know, not like it's a common thing, but it's interesting to see that, yeah, you can actually do that. You could turn it on. Just let the motors have room to spin and move. That way you don't restrict it because it has to do its warm up. But yeah, you can technically just have it on and you can walk around the house or walk around what you're doing and film with a stabilized gimbal. Awesome. Yeah, if you guys are new, if you guys are just joining the stream, thank you again. You guys were part of the 200,000 subscriber mark. Pretty awesome milestone considering I just hit the 100 subscriber mark. I believe it was at the end of the year last year. Was it in December? Oh boy, that's terrible. I don't remember. But yeah, I hit the 100,000 at there, and it just kind of shows that like you just keep going and it'll naturally move as you go. And you know, it took how many years to hit 100K mark? Like I said, in April of 2017 is when I actually started taking this thing somewhat seriously as an actual business. And I had 900 subscribers. So here we are 3 years later, a little over 3 years later, hitting the 200,000 mark. Just because of the fact that you just have to continue doing what you like doing and know that there's ways of doing some strategy around certain things that help the channel. And so really cool. Congrats. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. CJ, how to come up with the logo? Actually worked on the logo with a bunch of my old coworkers at work on our lunch break. We drew up a whiteboard wall, and we came up with a bunch of different ideas and things around it and what the meanings could be and how I want to label it. So yeah, I came up with the whole, we pretty much sketched it out, came up with a name, and did everything on our lunch break. But granted, I am working with a bunch of designers at my day job. And, you know, it just has a bunch of multiple meanings to it. You know, it serves as a letter A for my name, serves as the A for the flight path within the logo itself, serves as a runway. So it looks like a little a triangle runway, as though we are in flight. Flight path is a very common name and word to say when you're talking about aviation, but you know, didn't want a literal spelling of it. I use the word letter Y because the fact that my name is spelt with a letter Y, and which is normally spelt with an I. So things like that just kind of built around the meaning of how I chose the words of flight path, how I chose the icon. It all relates to what it's doing, what I do, and me. So I think that's I suggest that, you know, when you guys are building a brand, that you don't necessarily just hire somebody to build it, but make sure it's connecting a lot of things into it, so it has a lot more meaning to it than you would just say, hey, Fiverr, make me a $5 logo, and then I'll go with it. I think that you should really sit down and write out what you're trying to do with it, and how much connection it has with you and yourself and your company and whatever you want it to be. But take the time to do that. And if you have to hire somebody, you hire somebody. But I think, at the end of the day, or to start off, write out some things that mean something to you, and that connect those things together, that connect the business, the niche you're in with yourself. And I think that's pretty much what I did. Drone ops. What would you giving aspiring aerial photographer that wants to pursue it as a career? Just know it's like anything. It's like being a photographer. Take out the word aerial, right? What do you do as a photographer? One, learn it as much as you can as far as composition, manual settings. Know that no matter what, whether it's aerial or land, it doesn't matter. So when people ask me, like, as an aerial photographer, it's no different than being a land photographer, except you just have better opportunities to get one-of-a-kind perspectives, right? So I would say, as a photographer in general, know the gear, right? Once you start knowing the gear, you know that what you need and don't need. Then when you understand the gear, just know basic composition, what looks right, what doesn't look right. And then you get into aerial videography. Now, you talk about photography. Like I said, photography is the same thing as land photography. When it goes to video, you just have a lot more options for you when it comes into aerial videography, because now you get to actually move in this dynamic space, right? So you get to be a 300-foot dolly cam. That's where things really open up. So advice for that is you just have to understand the basic photography, videography principles, so that you can break them, right? So you know exactly what I need to do, how to get there, how to expose right, how to shoot it right. And then you go, okay, now how do I leverage the aerial portion of it to give me something different that no one else can get? Those top-down shots, those three-quarter shots, people can't get those unless you're in a helicopter. So those are things that you take advantage of. And then at the end of the day, you take those things and you can build your business off of, like anyone else would as a photographer. So you can do all the things. You can do all the anything that a photographer does. You can do the same stuff. So that goes into things like printing online, whether it be royalty-free stuff or selling your services to a company or shooting buildings and working with a contractor or construction. So just all of those things work the same way. All right, we'll take a few more. We'll probably cap it out in like the next 3 minutes or so. We did it, guys, girls. 200,000. Been on here for 2 hours and 20 minutes, so it's good. It's a Sunday morning. It's almost lunch. I appreciate your guys' time. And let's see. I'll grab a couple more. And if there's anything more, feel free to always leave those comments in my on my videos. I do my best every night to go through my comment section and address anything I can with you guys. About video editing software, I recommend anything you can get your hands on, because at the end of the day, keep your videos simple until they need to be complicated. So if you have iMovie, that's all you need, right? iMovie is all you need, because you can literally stack 2 layers on top of it. But you have to also look at all the other stuff. You have the A-roll, the main shot. Then you have audio. How do you enhance your audio? Then you have lighting. How do you enhance your lighting? So you have so many factors that go into play. Now, when it comes down to editing, the editing is probably the long part of things, but it also can be the easier part if you simplify things. The way you complicate things is that you try to do too many things, too many effects, too many layers for no reason, too many audio tracks for no reason. I would say keep it simple until you build up to the point where you can make complicated edits in a very simple way. And that goes for cameras too. How are you? I am awesome. Thanks, Mason. Is it safe to mount a GoPro on top of a drone? What do you think about that one? Yeah, it's all right. If you use a big enough drone, Mavics, they're fine. But I mean, at the what are you doing with it? You're trying to do something else that's not meant for it to do. So you fly at your own risk. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do it just to see, like, oh, how will it look? What if I strap this on? But they all do that with the knowing of the risk. So I wouldn't do it to think you're going to get something great out of it. It's more of like, will my drone carry something, or what does it look like with it? I mean, a lot of that stuff is mostly just for experimental purposes. It's not really to get anything out of it that's going to be usable. Steve, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Good morning from Australia. What is up? Can we do dolly zoom using droney quick shots? Droney quick shots, that was actually one I was looking at doing both, right? Because you do the quick shots. I actually tested out the dolly zoom just manually, and those are fine. But the one I was looking at was dolly quick shots or dolly zoom shots with like quick shots, and that was one I wasn't able to do because I only had half battery. Yeah, that's a good one to check in on, and that way you're able to do kind of multiple things. I'm not sure how well it'll work, but I mean, definitely could be a good way to do some of those things. Mix and match some of the smart controls in there. Raw coming to the Mini? Probably not this one. Not this Mini. I think the Mini has been out for so long now. If they were to release it, they would have released it. I don't think. I doubt we'll get too many groundbreaking updates from that. But who knows? DJI surprises us, as you guys know. Travis Jean, any recommendations on obtaining clients with drone photography? The same way you would market yourself as a regular photographer, videographer. Build your portfolio, give people reason to hire you because of your work. So if you're an aerial photographer, aerial videographer, build a portfolio. And building portfolios, don't make it difficult on yourself. Just go out and shoot. Thanks for answering the question. Not a problem. Here we go, guys. Think we're good. Even though there's 89 of you, I really appreciate it. That is awesome. We crossed it. We crossed 200K on the stream. We started out slow when you came on strong, so I really appreciate it. We are at 200,000 and like 20 or something. So, dude, that is unreal. How am I feeling? I'm feeling amazing. I feel amazing every day. Every day is something new, something new to do, something new to experiment with. Family's healthy. There's no reason to not feel good when those things kind of are there. So, I mean, I think everyone just, hopefully everyone's safe. And, these past months have been eye-opening. And I think it's just a matter of I'm just huge on just maximizing your time, guys. You don't know. You don't know what you don't know, but you do know what you can control. And you can literally control what you're doing right now. And that's the reason why I appreciate you controlling, you watching this live stream. And I'm going to control taking my kids out to the pool right now and soaking in this 90-degree weather that we just got hit with, this nice little heat wave this year. So that is how you, I guess you could say, you try to balance out work-life balance. So this is kind of, in a way, not really work. This is more fun, but now off to balance the family time and do a little out to get them into the pool, get them some exercise. Metro Drones, thanks for stopping by. Give some shout outs to you guys before I take off. So Metro, thanks for everyone. Sunrise Water, appreciate you guys coming through. Shadow Lab, thank you guys for being part of this 200K episode. It's literally 2.5 hours long. Did not think that would happen. But I am not going to fall short on providing you guys some more value. Hopefully, you guys got some from here. CJ, thanks for following. Glad I was able to answer some of your guys' questions. Yeah, definitely a Pinoy pride all the way around, man. I wish I can start trending over there somehow. I need to get some more followers from PI over here so that they can watch. So yeah, thank you, sir, Steve. Again, Steve, I'm gonna hit you up. I might need to work with. I know that you're Mr. Moderator, so I might need to work on that one for our next stream. I'll hit you up on the side for that one to get these live streams under wraps. Thanks, Tobias. Appreciate it. Ray Kelly, thanks again, man. Glad I was able to answer some of you guys' questions. How do you carry gear, or do you just focus on one thing? Oh man, I can't focus on one thing at a time, but I need to. Sometimes I'll go out and I'll do like a product review, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I can also do like 2 other product reviews at the same time, and then I end up doing no product reviews. So yeah, I've been recently trying to focus on one thing at a time when I go out, so it limits my gear, it limits my focus, and gives a better real world product review, real world scenario stuff that I normally always like to provide. So yeah, thank you guys, Travis, Mr. Yellow, Jason, thank you guys, and also everyone that participated and hooked it up with a live chat or a super chat. Thank you. That goes a long way. This StreamYard thing is actually new, but it actually does cost money. So a lot of that stuff is just going to get recirculated back into the stream, back into the business, so that we can continue providing, or I can continue. It's kind of funny when everyone says like it's just me. I can continue providing you guys a lot of information, and things like those live chats really help out because now I'm able to pay for the subscription for the StreamYard, which costs some money a month, as well as kind of keep these lights and everything going on. Other than that, I think we're good. Thank you guys for being part of 200K, and it took me 8 months after hitting 100K to get here. We will see the next big milestone. I kind of think 250 is still a nice milestone to celebrate. And then after that, we'll see sky's limits on things as long as I continue being motivated by not only your guys' comments, but by the tech. And if I'm having fun with it, then you guys know that I'm going to continue producing content for it. And if you guys like these live streams, like you just said, let me know. I would definitely like to get on maybe a possible schedule on this thing. Maybe Sunday mornings might be good for people. Kind of changes it up, whip out a nice little cup of Joe and we can just hang out. I do like the fact that StreamYard does allow multiple people on here. So I do want to look into having multiple people on the stream talking about different types of things. Like I talked about earlier, I want to get people that are also in different aspects of drones to bring on the channel to talk through. So if you guys enjoy those things, let me know. And thank you so much, Jaron Hathaway, for the super sticker. I need to get one of those Elgato little buttons so I can give you guys some claps and some animations and things like that. So that's all in the works, right? You kind of learn as you go, and that's what I don't want people to also realize. Learn as you go, figure it out, and don't let the gear slow you down. Just keep using what you have, and then build from there. Build as you need it. So drone giveaway is coming soon. Like I said, I'm going to be going through this live chat and pulling some names from here too for some other side prizes. We'll see where it goes. And I definitely have a couple of drones out there to give out, not only for my subscribers, but also for the members of the flight team. So if you guys aren't a member yet, there's a join button down below. If you guys want to join Team Flight, a lot of perks that come that way, a lot of behind the scenes information that comes your way. That I normally will give to you guys before I go out and post some new videos. So check that out. No pressure on joining, but it just gives you a little bit more information. It supports the channel, and it supports everything that we're doing around here on this channel. So definitely check that out. And I think that's it. I hope I gave you guys some good information, some questions and answers. I appreciate you guys' time, and we'll definitely do this again. I always have a fun time. 2.5 hours, just like that. It is lunch. Wow. So Thank you. 200K. I will see you guys on hopefully not just live stream, but on multiple other videos coming up. A lot of new stuff coming on the channel, so make sure you guys are subscribed. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.